Today on Locked On Red Wings, Moritz Seider won the Calder. There was never a doubt, and we're going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about it.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. I'm a producer over at 97 on the Ticket. Scotty is host over at Locked On Tigers and a freelance journalist for the Detroit News. And it finally happened. And I have had a huge grin on my face for the last hour as the announcement came at about, 7:30-ish about that time. And here I am recording this at 8:40 on Tuesday, and I just can't stop smiling. There was never a doubt. There was never a doubt. But just to finally have that win, man. Moritz Seider wins the Calder Trophy.
There was never a doubt. Seriously, I mean, it was really crazy going through. I just, right before they announced it, I just went on Twitter and just search barred Calder just to see what everybody was talking about. It's crazy how many, I don't know any of those people. It was just one tweet, whatever. Maybe it was unjust. Maybe it you know what I mean? It was, joking around or something. But it's crazy how many people thought that their guy was going to win. If it's not Zegras, the NHL is rigged, blah, blah. I'm and that's clearly as supported by the voting, wasn't an us biased thing. It's just, he was so clearly the Calder. He was so clearly the best rookie. It wasn't even particularly close. I'm genuinely shocked that other fan bases legitimately thought they had a chance, as arrogant as that sounds.
I feel like it was mostly delusion. I can't, we have our own biases here on Locked On Red Wings. Of course we do. We are Locked On Red Wings. But even looking at it objectively, we knew that no one had done as much as Moritz Seider had done with the talent, given the talent around him, especially. I mean, we go back to it constantly. He was a top 20 defenseman in points in his rookie year. And this is a defenseman who comes in the league who isn't touted for his offensive prowess. And granted, as it went on, we definitely found out he's very talented offensively. But he had 50 points in 82 games. That's tied for 19th in the league amongst all defensemen in points. And that is when I say worst, that is the worst part of his game. I don't mean that he's bad at it, but out of all of the areas of his game, his offensive ability is the part that is the least brag-worthy. You know what I mean? His defensive capability in the defensive zone, his ability to hold the line on the blue line, his hits, his reverse hits, everything, his ability to see the ice, read the game, it is so already elite level that it overshadows the fact that in his rookie season, he had 50 points in 82 games played. He had over a half a point per game on this Red Wings team.
As a rookie defenseman. Yeah.
As a rookie defenseman. So when I say it's the worst thing about him, it's still fantastic, but it's just so overshadowed by everything that he had done so far. It's such an easy conclusion that he would get 170, Scotty. 170 of the first place votes for Calder out of 195. There were 195 first place votes given out, and he had 170 of them. So I don't care who you are and what you have to say. I saw verified Twitter accounts going out there saying should have been Zegras. It was the guy who voices the EA Sports NHL saying that Zegras has done more for the game. It's I'm sorry. And Nolan replied to the guy. It's I didn't know that what you did for the game translates to best rookie. Because Moritz Seider, far and away, was the best rookie, and he won Rookie of the Year, justifiably so.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Like I said, it was really alarming might be too dramatic of a word, but it truly was surprising to me how many people thought that anybody else had a chance out there. And like, I'm not saying it was all everybody else. Like there were still plenty of people that were like, okay, like let's give Mo the Calder and move on, type of thing. But I mean, I was truly stunned, like by the amount of, and honestly, not very much of it, from what I saw, came from Ducks fans. I mean, there were maybe it's just because it's Twitter, but like there was a lot of like Bunting believers on, and like
I'm
weirdly,
not
which
surprised
never
by
made
that.
sense to me. And the team he plays on is certainly a thing, but it really was just kind of wild to me how, for some, I mean, I've been saying for months, it really is just going to come down to whether he wins it unanimously or not.
He
Um,
pretty much did.
and
Not
right,
quite, but
it was a massive blowout, and deservedly so. And that's how big of a blowout it was the only thing in my eyes. I'm stunned at how many people out there were either surprised by it or surprised by how much of, maybe it's just because it's the Red Wings and they weren't very good and they weren't very exciting and nobody out of market really watched them. But this was like really, really obvious.
he did not. I'm just checking this now as we were recording, but he did not end up getting any Moritz Seider votes, Norris Trophy votes for
Mm.
best defenseman in the league, which I'm not too surprised by. I wouldn't have been surprised if he got like a fourth place vote here or there or a fifth place vote here or there, but not incredibly surprised that he didn't get any Norris votes. But when it comes to the rookie of the year, it was never even close. He got 170 first place votes, 18 second place votes, three third place votes, and 4 fourth place votes, which I feel is something to be talked about, that there were 4 people who voted for Moritz Seider
Ridiculous.
outside the top 3. Like, he was a finalist, all right? Like, how, who? We need
Yeah,
names.
I can't wait till they will eventually, because they always do eventually release the the reported names or whatever, and eventually they'll either release their own ballots or use process of elimination. So eventually they will find out. But golly, I don't know how you justify that. I really
I,
don't.
I
And
don't
even
know
more
either.
so, like as the years go on, it's only gonna look stupider and stupider. Like it's not one of
Well,
those things that's gonna be like, oh, like I'm voting for the future. Like this person had the best season, but these people have the brightest futures. Like no matter what, you're just gonna look dumb.
because again, it's not about like future or what's up ahead. It's about what they did
Right.
this season. I mean, again, Moritz Seider had played 1,888 minutes. And I believe, I don't have all the Red Wings minutes up ahead in front of me right now, but I believe that led the team comfortably in minutes. He was just an unbelievable asset. I mean, allow me to break down the numbers for you here,
I'll
Scotty.
allow it.
He was his expected goals for percentage per 60 minutes was 0.13 relative to his teammates. So on the Red Wings, as bad as they were, he was consistently an asset to his teammates on the ice. He made the players around him better when he was on the ice. Corsi was even better. So when he was on the ice per 60 minutes, he contributed to 1.31 shots more than they faced in that span. For Fenwick, which is basically the same thing as 1.28, which is why those numbers are very similar, because one just it gives an exception to block shots. Expected goals above replacement. Moritz Seider had an 8.7 expected goals above replacement. He was expected to score 8.7 more goals than a replacement level player as a defenseman, which is phenomenal from the back end for a guy, again, who is not touted for his offensive prowess, but had developed, and I want to say developed it. He's always had it. It's just that in the span that people were scouting him, he had focused on his defensive game. We heard that from Tony Ferrari multiple times, is that everyone always knew he had an offensive game, but when he had gotten to the DEL, they asked him to focus on growing his defensive game, which is what people ended up scouting because that's what he was doing at the time. You look at his player card, which I'll throw back up here again. He's already a top 15% defenseman his rookie year. And these are all things that we have mentioned time and time again on this podcast. But here's his player card. His even strength offense goals above replacement was about 8. His expected goals above replacement was about 2. So he was even outperforming his already impressive expected goals above replacement at offense. That's his offensive side, even strength offense. His even strength defense would have been even better was his expected goals above replacement for his expected goals above replacement for even strength defense was over 3, which his actual goals above replacement was about 2. So he didn't quite live up to the expected goals above replacement. But again, look who he is playing with on defense.
Right.
His offensive and defensive attributes were both in the positive metrics. The only thing that is in the negative on his player card in his rookie year was shorthanded defense, expected goals above replacement. And they had one of the worst special teams. It goes back to the fact that any flaw you may have with Moritz Seider, or you can see analytically with Moritz Seider, can be also swept up in the grouping of the Red Wings just weren't very good. Look at how impressive this player card is, despite him playing on a lottery team that had one defenseman and some of the worst special teams in the league.
Yeah, and that defenseman was him.
It was him. Top 15% defenseman in his rookie season. Absolutely no reason for him to not win the Calder, and he won it by a landslide, as he rightfully should.
Absolutely.
I got to talk to you guys today about BetOnline. Nope. Wrong. Built Bar. Oh, hey. Still sharing my screen.
That's nice, man. Yeah. Let's do that.
It's only supposed to save that tab. So, our friends at Built are always coming out with new amazing flavors. Well, this time Built is truly outdone themselves with their new mud pie flavor. And for the first time ever, Built is introducing the new mud pie flavor in both mud pie and mud pie puff. Scotty, you and I have both been blessed with trying the mud pie Built Bar and the mud pie puff.
So good.
Absolutely just phenomenal stuff. And, every time they send us like a new sample to try before we do these ad reads, it feels like every new flavor is an improvement on the last. We talked last time. So birthday cake they'd only sent me a handful up into that point, and birthday cake I really, really enjoyed. And I was like, this is the first Built Bar where I'm like, I want consistently go out and get more now that my samples are gone. So they sent me mud pie. Bar was set pretty high. They surpassed that. Like, it legitimately did not even taste like I was eating a protein bar, which is not right, which is not fair to candy bars out there.
In a good
way. That
way,
is a dangerous game. Good way dangerous, but it's not fair to all those candy bars out there that there's a mud pie Built Bar that legitimately, that's part of their ad read, but it's so true. Tastes like a candy bar, but it's so healthy for you too.
So good. Both of them too. The puff, the bar itself. Either way, you can't go. They're just, I devoured the ones they sent us. Well, inhaled them.
So the puffs are good because it's obviously marshmallow, but the Built Bar one, like the actual OG mud pie Built Bar, is it's like actually thick and dense like a real brownie, which I really enjoyed. It's got 16 grams of protein, only 150 calories, and 8 grams of sugar. It's like your mom baked the most deliciously creamy chocolate mud pie and wrapped it up just for you. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are talking about Moritz Seider winning the Calder Trophy and how it just feels so right. Like, when the announcement came, Scotty, I wasn't like jumping up for joy, and because I was just sitting there and I was like, yeah. I was obviously I'm happy. I have a grin on my face this whole time. This is the first time a Red Wing has won the Calder Trophy since the 60s. But I just wasn't surprised. I mean, we had been talking for weeks about the fact that Moritz Seider was the bona fide. It wasn't if he won the Calder, is when he won the Calder. And we never had a shadow of the doubt. It was never going to be one of those things that would pop up on Freezing Cold Takes, a month from now, be like, these guys said he was going to win it easily. Like, everybody knew. There was one NHL poll all season long where Moritz Seider was not number one. And that was when Trevor Zegras did the Zegras, as they're calling it now, when he did the flip pass. That was the only time. Yeah. Michigan. Well, he did the Michigan too, but before that, he did the flip pass over the net, and that's when he first
calling it a Michigan pass.
Yeah, and so
I refuse to call it the Zegras.
Every other NHL poll had him at number one overall, and by a landslide for Calder. So it's just, you get to a point where you're like, yeah, that is right. That is how it should be.
Yeah, and the fascinating part is too, I don't know, we don't have to transition to this fully if you don't want to, but Lucas Raymond got a first place vote, and after the first month of the season, they did a poll, right? And it wasn't with the actual writers; it was just it was different writers and part fans and everything. But Zegras, Zegras, Lucas Raymond rather, he was first place in that poll after the first month of the season. He had the hat trick, he he was scoring
He
goals
was on
left and right.
fire. He was crazy.
So right. So it's super fascinating to see him maintain a first place vote, but by the end of the season and finish fourth. But B, I mean, outside of the one Zegras moment, it was a Red Wing from start to finish. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. And outside of, so Moritz Seider winning is obviously what this episode is all about. But Lucas Raymond, like you said, getting fourth overall in the voting is absolutely worth crediting. I mean, he was great all year long. Obviously, he had a little bit of a downtick in production as the season went on. And for a rookie at 19 years old when the season started, 20 when it finished, it was a tough season. And he held true like the entire time as a productive top line winger, playing with guys like Lucas Raymond and Tyler Bertuzzi and whatever winger they slotted up there at that time. I mean, he had 57 points and 23 goals in 82 games played. Again, Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond were 2 of 3 players to play all 82 games this season for the Detroit Red Wings. That is very impressive out of guys who can't even legally drink in America. They are 2 really impressive rookies. And so while we're celebrating Moritz Seider, it is definitely apt to bring up the fact that Lucas Raymond finished 4th. And you could have made an argument he finishes in the top 3. Of course, we already knew that didn't happen because we had the 3 finalists, months ago. But him being right there at 4 is very appropriate. I think that is a good spot for him to finish because, again, he had that really hot first half of the season and still productive second half. Just he got passed by guys like Michael Bunting playing between Matthews and Marner and Zegras. Zegras, again, we talk about Moritz Seider obviously outshined Zegras and Bunting by a whole new level, but Zegras, his point production this season was legit. Outside of the big assist and the big goal that he got that everyone knows, he was a highly productive forward. So he absolutely deserves
I think
a spot
Zegras
and
wins it a lot of years.
Yeah, if it weren't for Moritz Seider doing what he did on the team that he had, Zegras wins this.
Yeah,
almost every single year.
I think we could go back and point to quite a few years over the last 10, 20 years that Zegras with the season he had would have won the award for sure.
Absolutely. But Lucas Raymond getting just one, even if it's just one first place vote.
Yeah,
just him
like
getting
but the ridiculousness of Seider getting 4 fourth place votes is asinine.
Yeah, no, I still don't understand how that happened.
I would love to see those ballots. I would just love to see like the name of the writers, like sure, whatever, if you want to go, whatever. I just want to see the ballots. I just want to see who
just take their right to vote away.
Like who I just want to see who they had. Like I genuinely just want to see what they had at 1, 2, 3.
Well, because there's no justification for Seider being at 4. There is just none. I cannot see any justification for him being at 4. It's crazy to me that that's where he was. I don't get it.
There's no justification for him at 3 either, and he had more fourth place votes than third.
Yeah, I somebody out there. So here, there's one of 2 things that happened here, and this is just me speculating. But sorry,
you should be
not going to cut that. By the way, Moritz Seider is a defenseman. That's why he got 4th place votes, because there's always going to be those old heads out there who are going to value flashiness and goal scoring and production. Mind you, Moritz Seider still had 50 points, and he led all defensemen or all rookies in assists. But there are always going to be people out there who value forwards, goal scoring, assists, point production, over defensive capability, over physicality, and everything that a defenseman does. So there's at least 4 people out there, 7 total, who voted for him 3rd and 4th, that just covet defense. That's my theory. My other theory is somebody doesn't like Detroit, which is very possible. There's somebody out there who probably just has a vendetta against Detroit, because remember when, I'm going to say this, of course you remember when Rick Porcello won the Cy Young? And Justin Verlander had more first place votes than Rick Porcello did, but Rick Porcello had enough second place votes to then win the Cy Young Award. And then there was like a guy in Florida who listed like 2 Tampa Bay relievers as like 2 and 3. And if Verlander would have gotten those votes, he would have won Cy Young, because there's always somebody out there who has a bias towards their own players. There's going to be somebody out there who voted for Tanner Jeannot or Dawson Mercer to be number 1 and number 2, or 2 and 3. And that's going to pull Moritz Seider down in the poll. So those are my 2 crack theories as to why Moritz Seider got 3rd and 4th. But in the end, doesn't matter. Moritz Seider won.
At the end, it doesn't matter. He won the award. I really I really would have liked to have seen him get even closer to unanimous. Like, I know that's like super.
I mean, he got all but 25 votes.
Yeah, like that's like super snobby of me, because like he did win the award and everything's like fine and dandy, and I'm thrilled. But I really would have liked to have seen him get as like even closer to unanimous. Like he deserved unanimous in my eyes. He really did.
I mean, Nedeljkovic got 1 5th place vote. He showed up on there. It's nice for him.
Hell
Appreciate that.
Good for him.
We're gonna, I guess, transition now into segment 3 here in a second, and when we come back, talk a little bit more about the speech, the announcement, a video celebrating from all the different players, and a surprise couple appearances in that celebration video by a couple of former Red Wings alumni, and then just kind of going through and listing off a few other award winners that won trophies this year, and tell you who, if any, spoiler alert, there weren't, that finished in the award voting for the Red Wings. Segment 3, Lockdown Red Wings podcast. Scotty and I are talking about Moritz Seider winning the Calder Trophy. And Scotty, let's see here.
Brian,
do you want to talk about his acceptance speech, or do you want to talk about the video that all the players was compiled of all the players?
I want to do the acceptance speech, and then I want to do both videos after.
Okay, both videos. I don't know what you're talking about.
The one that we are literally in, Brian.
Oh, I was trying to have fun, and you just ruined it.
You came across as kind of stupid. So.
Well, I am very stupid.
Same, man.
So his acceptance speech was really fun.
It was fun, of course. Man. The joke at his parents was my favorite part.
I liked a lot of people are saying like, oh, thank the city of Detroit, which good. I'm glad he included that in there. But of course he's going to say that. Of course he's going to thank the city of Detroit and the Red Wings and the fans. It was the off the cuff stuff that I really enjoyed. And the shot at his parents was hilarious. He goes up to the stage. He's like, he had to have known he was going to win this award. He goes, I don't have an acceptance speech prepared. I'm like, of course, it's Moritz Seider. So he gets up there with nothing but his wit and his guile.
Dude, like, and that's the other thing about like Zegras, Zegras, he just did so much for the game. Like from a marketing, on the ice product, sure, he did more than a defenseman. Like, sure, fair enough. But if they wanted to, man, they could make Mo a superstar. Like nobody has his personality, man. Nobody else, no other rookie, no other. His personality is really going to take him to new heights of hockey players in general, and especially defensemen, dog. Like he really does have it.
You're 100% spot on. He has got everything. We ranted raved the first 2 segments about his playing ability and how he can do everything on the ice. But this, like, it cannot be spoken enough about his off-ice personality. And just, are you good?
Yeah, I got some in my eye.
All of a sudden you get really wide-eyed. It cannot be spoken enough about just how strong of a personality he is and how charming he is. I mean, he gets up on the stage and he goes, I want to thank my friends and my family, my girlfriend. My parents couldn't be here today. They just got back from Croatia, and they felt it was more important to go on vacation than be here. Like that was that quick wit right off the cuff. I mean, he probably preemptively was like, I'm going to take a shot at my parents, but he's such a good personality, and it seems so genuine. And I guess this can transition now into the video of all the players, congratulating him. I mean, cool. Joe Veleno's segment was probably the best. Yeah. It was the longest, and it felt like the most heartfelt. And he mentions like, stay you, stay humble, stay loving hockey. And he's like, thank you for helping me grow as a player. And that felt like, obviously we talked a lot about before the season started about Raymond and Seider, joking together and being good friends and good buddies, and I know they are. But the Mojo show happened, and it's besides the play on words, it's clearly because Seider and Joe Valeno are good friends, and it really came across in that congratulations video, and it felt very sincere from Joe Valeno. Everything that he said about Moritz Seider just reinforces how good of a guy he is off the ice as well as on the ice, and just the fact that I'm really starting to love Joe Valeno off the ice as well. Like, he seems incredibly grounded as well, and I really love the core of this team going forward, the youth on this team going forward, because they seem very ready to grow together and become a Stanley Cup contender together. And I love watching that congratulations video.
Yeah, me too. I really liked Larkins as well, and
Yeah.
it, I think he was the last one, one of the
Yeah,
last
he
ones
said, "I love you" too.
with yeah, with the talking about everything on the ice and off the ice and everything. I thought that was really nice from the captain there. There was some interesting ones. I mean, I think, like, not in a disrespectful way, obviously, but like the Hasek one is kind of like weird to me. Like,
Yeah.
not weird negatively, just like random ish.
Yeah, like, why though? Why? So obviously there are two guys that popped up in that congratulations video, and it was Hasek and Sergei Fedorov.
Right. So
And
Fedorov's the one that like everyone freaked
is
out
freaking out about
entirely
because
because, like, oh my gosh, he's in the video. He must be coming back.
a lot of people want him to be the next head coach of the Detroit Red Wings. I'm not even
Mhm.
opposed to it, but it did strike. Like, I tried very hard not to think too hard on that one. I did Bo Brisky give up like another home run or something?
No, we just got into a double play to end the inning. Unbelievable.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You're good. I just was like, did I say something wrong? And then I clicked. I was like, oh, I know what's happening. The thing about it is, like, I tried really hard not to think too hard about it. I was like, Sergei Fedorov he's in this video, so our relationship's not as bad as
Right.
as I thought they were with the organization still. And then my mind's like, was BetOnline right? What is he the favorite to be the next head coach? I'm like, no, Brian, don't look too deep into a 15-second clip, because it is an interesting choice that it's Sergei Fedorov and Dominik Hasek, two people who presumably don't have a relationship with Moritz Seider, especially because neither of those guys are German. One's Russian and the other one's Czech. So to see those two guys, and it's not negative. It's just, it caught my eye.
Yeah, no, not. I'll always take an opportunity to hear from those two, but it's it's definitely weird. Like, out of all the names you have in that, like, fraternity, for lack of a better term, right? Like, of all the names that you have to pull from in, like, the Red Wings lore, like all the great wings and all the ones that still have such prominent relationships with the organization. I mean, your assistant general manager is literally the greatest defenseman of all time. Like, you have so many names to pull from, and the fact that you wanted to make sure that, like, Sergei Fedorov was in that video is a little like, oh, really? Okay, like that's interesting. That's interesting.
Name in the rafters.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. It's interesting. I'll tell you that.
And then, of course, there was the official announcement hype video for Moritz Seider winning the Calder.
Very great video.
For a lot of different reasons. We made an appearance in it, which was pretty awesome. Of course, it's just me spazzing out over how great Moritz Seider was. I think it was after the Philadelphia Flyers series in Philly, the home and home. After he just
so
dominated.
I remember recording that. Yeah.
I was like freaking out.
Yeah. My thanks to Brian, my name will forever be in the Moritz Seider Calder video.
He's so good, Scotty. He's so good. I mean, it was definitely a cool moment, and thanks to the
video
and social media team.
Right, very cool that we made it, for sure. Very cool. But the video itself was phenomenal. I mean, so well put together, and definitely a cool kind of cherry on top there at the end, because that was, seeing his highlights and the on and the off ice stuff, everything about him, man. He is him. He is him, and he's gonna be the focal point for this team for a very long time.
Oh, he is absolutely a core piece. And I guess we can end it on looking ahead, looking ahead for Moritz Seider's future, winning the Calder is great. It's a great personal accolade. And he and Lucas Raymond being put on the NHL's all-rookie team is another amazing feat for both of those guys in their rookie seasons. But sorry, say again. Accolade? Are you making fun of me? You're an ass. It's another amazing feat by those guys, but it doesn't stop. They have to continue to get better. And I think they very much will. I think the ceiling for these guys is astronomical. I think they both have the makings of bona fide superstars in this league. But it's great. This team has got to take it to the next level. And I think these two guys are central pieces on this team being taken to the next level. Going from a lottery team to a playoff contender to a Stanley Cup contender to eventually Stanley Cup champs. And I think this is a launching point. I think we are going to see in the next few years.
This is the fun part of coming out of a rebuild is obviously the team taking steps forward, but watching the individual players take steps forward. It's so dang fun, man. It's so I can't wait to watch Seider's next season. Like I can't wait to watch him again this fall and see the next step that he will then take again. It's so fun. It's so and Raymond too, obviously the whole team, man. Like I really am, this is just highlights a city's excitement for the future of this team.
I'll end it on this. He's so good. He's so good, Scotty. I'm so hype.
Thanks
for making Locked On Red Wings your first listen every single day. We're free and available on all platforms. Now make your second listen Locked On NHL. Locked On NHL covers the playoffs like no other. Hear the latest news and opinions from local experts every Monday through Friday. It is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow, doing a little bit of a prospect profile. Same time, same place. It's your team.
Accolades.